This might be more of a random video, but you see stuff like this in the comments section a lot. I won't post specific people's comments, but they mostly go something like, "The US has secret weapons decades ahead of anyone," and those comments are often in all caps. So I'd like to explore the issue. Are there secret weapons? First, being strictly logical, if there are secret weapons, we would not know about them. If we knew about them, they wouldn't be secret. But we can look to the past. Were there operational weapons in the past that were secret at the time and only later became public knowledge? And also to look at the reason of weapons in the first place. Now, there are obviously several things a nation would want to keep secret in regards to defense. Things like the exact effective range of weapons, their top speed, the exact manner in how they work, their characteristics, etc. For example, the radar cross-section of an F-22. But the weapons themselves are not secret. We know of the F-22, what weapons it carries, and the like. But having the weapon itself secret seems counterintuitive. Most people may not think about it, but weapons are for more than just fighting wars. You could say that's only half of their purpose. The other half is deterrence. It's saying to a potential enemy, "Look what I have. If you attack, I can defend myself." This is why the US releases endless images and video of their military, and Russia is quick to release video of new weapons like the nuclear-powered cruise missile and hypersonic weapons. They aren't keeping these secret, they want the world to know of them, and get the full value of these weapons, even though most of them will likely never be used in combat. I think this is most noticeable with nuclear weapons. The entire theory of mutually assured destruction relies on this concept. If the weapons were only meant for war, then one could say that all the nuclear weapons in this example, and most weapons in general that were built, are a waste of money, as they are not used. If you have a secret weapon, you completely lose half the value of that weapon. It's like that scene from Dr. Strangelove.
Whole point of the Doomsday Machine is lost. If you keep it a secret, why didn't you tell the world, eh?
It was to be announced at the party congress on Monday.
Now, with that being said, there are some platforms that are not necessarily weapons that might be kept secret. Those include things used in surveillance and reconnaissance. Examples could include things like the U-2 spy plane, the SR-71, and newer stealth drones such as the RQ-170. One exception to this could be the F-117. It became operational in 1983 and was not publicly announced until 1988. However, during those years, the aircraft were all kept at Tonopah Test Range, arguably, one could say, still undergoing testing and evaluation. The aircraft wasn't used in combat until after it was made public, in Panama in 1989, and more famously in Iraq during the Gulf War a few years later. Which brings me to another point. Weapons and weapon platforms might be kept secret during development, before they're operational. This is common, as you might not want the enemy to know exactly what you are designing and give them time to develop a counter, or, in an extreme case, invade you before it's operational. An obvious example of this would be nuclear weapons development. If a potential enemy knows that you are working on nuclear weapons, it could be more likely that they would attack you before those weapons are operational. One major issue I see with trying to keep a weapon secret is deploying them. If it was an air-launched missile, for example, you'd have to have them ready for use. That means maintenance crews would need to know about them, the pilot would have to know all about them, ground crews, and on and on. That's a lot of people, especially over the years as service members are cycled through, all of which you would need to keep quiet. Going back to the F-117, there were reports of the aircraft that got out before it was made public. Now there is an exception to this, and that is what I call illegal weapons. Those would be weapons that you are not supposed to have, whether it is due to international law, domestic law, public perception, etc. This often includes things like nuclear, biological, and chemical weapons. Even offensive cyber weapons could be included here. Israel is an example. They are widely known to possess nuclear weapons, but have not publicly confirmed this. There are likely many countries in the world that possess chemical and biological weapons and keep them secret. However, it could also, at times, include more conventional weapons. One example could be Russia in regards to the INF Treaty. The US has, for years, claimed Russia is in violation of the treaty. This, however, is more due to the exact range of these weapons being secret, and not the weapon itself. Another one could include the X-37 and weaponization of space in general. While not strictly illegal, placing these weapons in space would definitely fall under that public perception part of my illegal weapons definition. So, in short, I do not believe there are any secret weapons, at least in the sense one normally conceives of them. They would serve no benefit, and any large-scale deployment to the point where they're a game changer would be impossible to keep secret. I do seem to be in the minority when it comes to this topic. For example, it seems that everyone on this website would disagree with me. Although I would argue that many of the things they are talking about are being researched, not operational. So, I could be wrong. It wouldn't be the first time.